Oh, wow. I forgot that.
Hi everyone, I'm Madison Moreno, and today I'm in Long Beach, California with CALSON.
Hi, how you guys doing? My name is CALSON, aka Matthew Moreno, aka the Butter Beast, aka the Seitan Chicken Lover, aka this place is freaking dope. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for Kickbush for doing this out. I shout out to you guys and to Madison and to Adrian. Adrian is doing the best that he can. Everyone is out here. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on, dude.
Alrighty, so we're going to walk and talk. We're going to
Let's
do
do
a
it.
walking interview
Let's do it,
today
then.
because it's a beautiful day outside. The temperature's
cloudy.
great. It's a little cloudy.
It's a little cloudy, but it's funny. I feel like I'll get a little picky with some like partly cloudy kind of days.
Right, no
just
doubt.
Just because like
It gets a little too cloudy.
yeah,
Clouds
and
the brain.
yeah, and it's like yeah, honestly, well, not even that, but I think it's a specific mood. I feel like it has a specific kind of like melancholy to it that is I don't know. It's a good melancholy because then there's also kind of like hope, especially when you see out to like the
No doubt.
distance in here because it's a little bit more blue, but then right here it's kind of like okay, it's a little like cloudy headed, I guess, in a way. So that's the thing, man. If it wasn't for the weed, no, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm playing, dog.
So
I'm just
anyway,
playing.
you're so expressive about the weather. Let's talk a little bit about your music. So
Okay,
tell
bet.
us about CALSON. What is your MO? CALSON. What is CALSON style? Who is
Yeah.
CALSON? How do you express yourself through CALSON?
So I feel like with CALSON, it's more of a I guess whatever I want to go ahead and express with like my own projects or what I'm aiming for, it usually just depends. If it's something that it's more generally like, okay, I'm gonna work on like let's say this project. So like with my previous project that I made with like with my debut album, it pretty much like just I wanted to feel out stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like I wanted to feel out stuff. Dude, that car's pretty sick though, I'm not gonna lie.
Crazy car. Pan to the car. Pan to the car.
Pan to the car. There you go. Pan to the
car.
Pan to the
Pan to
car
car.
at that point. That's a dope whip.
Love you guys.
Have a good one. That was actually so sick. That was that was meant to be, dude.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, CALSON, I feel like it's more of whatever I'm like internally feeling throughout the time of like creating my music or recording, or I guess it's like I also kind of just like having to experience life, whether it's super little, and I guess maybe people can eye it out as like, oh, mundane things, whether that's like, oh, I'm gonna wake up this morning or I'm gonna see the sunset. Sunsets happen every single day, but I like that. Do you know what I mean? In a really cheesy way, or like.
So would you say that you do music for yourself mainly or for listeners, for an audience?
I feel like it's a good combo for like both because at the same time I feel like I do like to a certain extent being like a people pleaser and like being like, hey, like hope you enjoy this or I hope you like this sound, but then at the same time I feel like when it comes to like what I'm trying to aim for, whether that's like, I mean, in a corny way, like I guess visionary or more like
Not corny.
yeah, I guess so. No corn. We're talking about maize here.
corn.
We're talking about maize here. Shit, maize hashtag. No, I'm just playing.
Hashtag maize.
Hashtag maize. It's a good combo of like both, I would say, but I mainly like doing music for myself and whatnot because I do want to push like my own personal boundaries when it comes to like, okay, I can make this work out or this work out, whether it's sonically or a concept or like something that I'm trying to conceptualize or something that I'm going ahead and like trying to put out to the world, but then also that I'm satisfied with. So like with my previous project, I felt more like confident, I guess, in that whole
Gotcha.
aspect. You know what I mean?
And definitely. And you had a live show last night in Fullerton.
I did.
Can you go ahead and tell us about that experience? How did that go?
Dude,
Really sad that we didn't get to make it to cover it. So sorry.
Hey, it's all
Forgive
good. Hey,
Kick
it's all
Push.
good. It's all good. Hey, you guys are busy. You guys are like businessmen out here. We're all trying to make a business out here, dog. So that's the whole vibe. Let's walk across the street. Watch. So here's the thing. Frogger this shit. Dude, I'm trying to win. Well, I'm tripping. No, I'm playing. No, I'm just kidding. No tripping. Give it. Put like a little brick. I'm just kidding. So it's. I'm just kidding. Anyways, yes, but I had a live show at the Continental Room, and I was playing with DIY Valentine. They were the headliners, and I ended up playing with them. Apparently, though, like we had to get, we were trying to find more people and whatnot because Yo and the Electric were the ones that put everything together.
Right.
And I felt a little bit bad because like all the freaking like 3 of the members got COVID. They got the cheese touch, bro. That's how, yeah, they got the cheese touch. But hey, shout out to fucking Yo and the Electric for making that happen though. I'm gonna be super honest with you, so I really appreciate it. It's freaking amazing. That was a super night. That was a super fun night. Sorry, a super night. Who cares? But you know, hopefully I get to play with you guys soon though. Okay, but it was pretty dope. But I'd say it was really nice. I was pretty surprised.
Big shout out.
I was pretty surprised on everyone that like came out like through the set and whatnot. So appreciate y'all's for going out or whatnot. There you go, yeah.
Thanks for coming out. And
So
then
awkward
this
to the
was
camera.
one of the first shows where you were paid, and also being a very small musician, much smaller than you.
Yeah.
But being a small musician myself, I understand it's a big milestone when you make even just a little bit of money off of this, because I know that for a lot of musicians, a lot of independent DIY musicians, it's a passion project. So how did you feel receiving that small amount but a little bit of money for performing? Because I know that sometimes that can make all the difference in like how you view yourself as an artist, how you view that you can change the scene that you're trying to go into. How did that affect you?
I guess the thing is like, well, I mean, aside from all the other bands and venues that I've played in before for previous bands or even other places where like I have gotten paid in the past before. This is just the first time I've gotten paid like in a venue space.
Gotcha.
That is like big.
Which
is trippy because I've never had that happen yet.
Pretty big, the Continental Room. That's awesome.
Which is crazy. Yeah, no, thank you. Which is crazy too. And I mean, it's like, I don't want to focus too much on the money. I guess more when it comes to like a financial aspect. I guess it's just more of like, you know, like trying to make that your job like anything else is.
No doubt.
But then also not getting lost within it and still trying to go ahead and focus on what I'm trying to go ahead and get out idea-wise and artistically, but then also being like cathartic about it and not losing that like, I guess, catharticism with like, okay, I gotta make like a quick buck or something. But I get it because there's people that want to make bag and whatnot, so I understand it. But then again, if you're enjoying that bag, then I mean, who's to blame? Do you know what I mean? But then at the same time, I don't want to sound like greedy or anything. I guess that's the one thing, because that's the one, I guess, weird thing about musicians is just the whole financial side.
Right.
And also trying to go ahead and like artistically push yourself. But then, you know, there's probably people out there that are like, oh, but you wouldn't really do it if it was for the money. Or like, wouldn't you want to get paid? So then there's two spectrums of where people like want you to get paid and then people don't want you to get paid, because then that's going to like almost tantalize the art. But then it's a small group of people. It's not like everyone's saying that.
So then with that being said, how do you feel about sellout culture? Like, how do you feel about hustling just for the hustle, hustling for the money, changing your style based upon what is trending, what can make you the most money in a certain amount of time? How do you feel about that?
I think when it comes to, I mean, that's like a really harsh way to say sellout culture, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean by sellout culture.
And not in a bad way, because I understand definitely tweaking your style to maintain what is going to get a good following.
Yeah.
Or what is going to maintain a good following.
Yeah.
So I guess harsh words by saying sellout culture.
No. I mean, that's for me saying harsh, but I think the one thing is like with sellout, well, I mean, it's like, I guess it's like going back to like what we were talking about. So it's more like, okay, what are you trying to pursue more? What is like the actual intention for like your art? Is it really, are you feeling it more because you're really trying to get like a quick buck on this, or are you really trying to go ahead and like push something that's more artistically, like in a sense, like, okay, you're pushing yourself to where you want to sound sonically or even lyrically, or you're trying to go ahead and get this conception and put it either in a record or an EP. I don't know. I think the fulfillment, I guess, is the biggest term. The fulfillment towards that feels a lot more grand, in my own opinion, to create something that is, I guess, is more meaningful in my aspect than like, okay, I'm going to make this record because it sounds good, or this sounds better, or I need money. But then again, I don't want to shame the people that are doing that as well too, because, you know, everyone's struggling to a certain degree, and I don't want to go ahead and judge someone, because they did. Yeah, because then who knows if like they're going through this, or they have to do this, or they have to make ends meet on this way. So I understand that as well too, but I guess it's just not trying to get lost within that. I think that's the really scary part, because then I think at that point it feels like, one, there's not a lot of progress that's being made artistically, and everyone's kind of getting comfortable because, oh, there's this trend that's going on like TikTok, or oh, there's this trend that's going on like Instagram. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but then again, if that's going to be like your whole artistic identity, then that's where it's kind of like, then I don't know, some people like it, some people don't. I kind of just like, I'm more of the mindset where I'm really stubborn, and like I want to go ahead and see something more fresh and new, and something a lot more like sonically fresh, and a lot more like sound wise, and also and obviously once you get it down to like a conception kind of aspect, then fuck yeah, that makes it like a lot more better. I mean, it's like adding like Easter eggs almost to like your music and whatnot, like adding either lyrics that are like, oh, meaningful to you, or like something in the record that you wanted to add, or like a music video. I don't know, there's so much that you can go off on that. Do you know what I mean? But going back to that question, basically it's like, it really depends on like what your motive is towards that, and then also try not to get sucked in the hole that like, okay, this is the thing, so everyone's doing this thing, so I'm gonna do that, but then making that your identity, I guess.
No doubt, definitely. So then, what are your plans for CALSON? Do you have any big takeaways from this last show, big takeaways that you have come to find out as time moves on? Like, what do you want to do with CALSON?
For CALSON right now, I'm trying to aim for something more towards like, well, definitely playing more live shows.
Awesome.
Is the one thing. Playing a lot more live shows and trying to get that settled down. And then also just working on like the next record that I'm working on too, but then I'm still kind of like in the experimental mode of that, meaning like, okay, I have like this sonic sound that I took from, from like this record, so then what can I do to go ahead and like maybe go past that in a way where I'm satisfied, but then also like an audience can be satisfied as well too, you know? So it's like that's why I don't want to lie and say like I don't just do it for myself too, but then it's like I do want to make it mainly about myself though, because then it's like I want to be satisfied with like the art that I'm pushing.
Because you are the artist, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I feel like to a certain extent that art is an extension of yourself. And
exactly.
Based off of what I've listened to by CALSON, I think that CALSON is a very wonderful depiction of Matthew Moreno. I really enjoy listening to your music because I feel like it helps me know you more. And I just think it's really inspiring when you see an artist that has a sound that you can tell they click with, or a style that they click with. So in regards to your style, do you feel like there's any disjoint between your full creative expression and what you have going on right now? Do you ever feel like there are drawbacks to, like, I don't know, not really putting yourself under a label, but being kind of stuck under the umbrella of like a genre label for a little bit of time? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Are you talking about more kind of like in the aspect of, okay, I guess like with my music, it's more towards like going towards like a label, or being independent, or staying independent. Well, are you talking about more like
not
that?
Even like in regards to an actual label, just like genre descriptions and labels like that? Because
okay, like labels, like,
and we've talked about this. We know,
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm running off of 3 hours of sleep, immediately thinking that you're saying labels as like an actual label. I was gonna be like, Stone Throws. I'm looking at you. No, I'm just kidding. No, starts naming off people. Stone Throws? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, like Stone Throws. Everyone on that record label is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Awesome, anyways, but labels in general, I guess it's more. I don't know. I guess it's more of a. It's cool. It's fun to go ahead and categorize what people like are creating.
That they're listening to. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because then obviously I think for like the listener that's hearing it, it gives them more of an idea of like, oh, what is this aesthetic? Right. So they can see like, okay, this is like what they're pushing at right now. Do you know whether that's like the sound of the music, or like the artistic aesthetic like style towards what they're trying to go towards? But I think it depends, because it's like I have a weird relationship where it's like I kind of like labels, but then I also don't like labels. I like labels in the sense of like, okay, it's better for like newer people to identify like, okay, what is this? What is that? But then at the same time, it's also like you don't want to immediately categorize that under like everyone else. Do you know? Right. But then that's why it's like, I don't know. But then like, I think it just depends. It usually just depends. But because then I'm also an artist too, so I don't want to go ahead and like give a box to someone else when someone's not giving a box to me, or like someone else, even not in like a personal like egotistical way, but in a more like kind of like, oh, okay, I see how everyone's trying to push the boundaries with these sounds. We're given these sounds that we're going to go ahead and create on our own, and we want to go ahead and give it our own signature style, whether that's going to be, okay, I'm going to write lyrics like this, or I'm going to do this that I like more, or it's like everyone kind of wants to find their own what's
niche.
it called? Sauce. Yeah, niche and sauce that they got like within themselves. You know, come on, bro. Niche and sauce, man. You got to put those two together, and then once you got it together, then ooh, you got the spicy meatball right there. You got the thing that it encapsulates a lot, even like influences that I've like really liked. Specifically, the one dude though has to be Arthur Russell. That dude, he is absolutely taking over my fucking world right now. Because for the same reason, going back to like the labels, people even back in the day didn't know what to make of him, because he would just be working on music.
Like when it comes out so quick, there's really no way to shove it under an umbrella.
And on top of that, he was so diverse with his sounds, coming to think of like, okay, he started off with like this whole kind of like disco sort of scene, and he was trying to really figure out like what made popular music popular and whatnot, what was catching everyone's ear sonically, that it's like, okay, I like this shit. And then I guess it's so inspiring just to see, like, just not to spoil the whole documentary, you guys should see a wild combination. That shit is fucking absolute fire. But like the thing is like he like I don't know, it's he wanted to push the pop sound to something that he wanted to, I guess, bring his own niche in, but at the same time, I think just like motivated so many people to just be more liberated with their art and not feel like, oh, I have to be this one genre to like get people's attention, or I have to do that. No, I feel like that's kind of the reason why we have intuition to a certain extent, because it's like, I don't know, I mean, if you're feeling like internally like, okay, this should be the right decision for my art, because it's like, isn't that kind of the point with art, is like you have to make if you have to feel right. If you don't, who said it? I think Thundercat said that shit in an interview. It's like, if you don't feel it, you're fired. It's literally like, it's funny because, you know, Thundercat, he's a silly man, I like him, but then also it's like, dude, I don't know, that does make sense though, because it's like, even when it comes to when you're going to perform, if you're not feeling like the groove, then how are you going to get something good out? But same thing when it comes to like the ideas that you're going to push out to like your recordings, or how you're going to express that to someone else. It's like, it all has its kind of feeling, intuition, more internalized kind of.
It's almost like it's its own being.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the thing that I like with music a lot, to an extent, that it's almost like you're creating your own world. You're creating your own space.
Your atmosphere.
Exactly. And going back to Arthur Russell, I like how he does that with a record that's a little bit more like avant-garde, ambient, pop. Like, I don't want to sound pretentious or anything. Sorry, no, it just sounds cool, dude. But it's like, this is one record called World of Echo. And in that whole record, it's just sounds that he's making with like his cello. But I think here's the thing that I really started to take admiration in him a lot, is the fact that he was, okay, so when people were performing and when people were recording music, they want to have a sense of like impact, especially during the times of like the 80s and the 70s. This is just what I'm going through in my head, especially when I like hear my dad show me like, let's say AC/DC, a lot of the rock bands that were fucking rocking it during that time, and a lot of like, let's say even the new wave bands that were very like strong vocals, Flock of Seagulls, New Order, all those people that were really pushing boundaries with that, even with like synths and whatnot. But I like how Arthur Russell utilized his voice in a way that wasn't, like, it was powerful, but it was powerful in the sense that it was quiet. It was very like intimate.
It made you listen. It made you want to pay attention.
That's the thing that I like a lot, because it makes you listen and it makes you interpret like what he's trying to feel or what he's trying to express to you with that record. But then I like how he still tries to dissolve the boundaries and not make it too avant-garde, because then he also has records like like that I like off of like what I've seen on his Spotify and whatnot. That's more like calling out of context. That's a really fucking good record and whatnot. But then again, it's like even all those records that he was producing, like they were all like recordings that he was just doing like left and right, like so innovative. And it's just like, it's crazy to hear what he created during the 80s and 70s and making it sound like it was fucking made yesterday. Like that's the trippiest thing in my opinion, and I have like a level of respect for an artist that does that. That's like, yeah, that's good. And I think the thing that's really interesting with it that I was thinking about the other day and I was talking about with someone else is how I think that's why I like a lot of like psychedelic music for the same reason, because there's that level of psychedelia that people bring within each other that makes it kind of timeless. Do you know? Because it's like,
Definitely.
what, even though obviously the term like psychedelic or psychedelia was kind of like starting to be more coined in like the 60s, especially with like the movement of like people taking psychedelics and people like expressing themselves in that way or exploring their minds,
In a
but
much more like fluid manner.
exactly, in a much more fluid manner. And also just like, you know, and obviously it had its like it had its like ups and downs with people and how they viewed like the movement, I guess, do you know? So I think, but the experience of like psychedelia and like the whole, I guess, the concepts and metaphors that people bring with it don't feel like there's a timeline there. There's nothing that's tied that's like, oh, this is like early 2000s when I went on the, like, no, there's nothing with that. There is like a whole greater sense of seeing the world, of like how you view the world, how you see yourself. And it's just, I don't know, I find that really, really interesting. And I find that really, really almost like, yeah, it's like a secret juice to life. You know what I mean? That people figure out. And some people experience and some people don't experience. And it's like with psychedelic music, you know, I think I have a big admiration for that because it's just so, it's timeless in its own ways.
Definitely.
You know? So it's crazy.
So then, I mean, I hear you speaking a lot about a lot of different music, very highly of it, but coming from, you know, yourself, what would you tell CALSON if you were a listener, if you were a fan?
If what would I tell CALSON? I mean, like in a sense of like, what would I tell him about his sound, or like, what you mean?
Would you, if you were a fan of yourself and you listened to a lot of your own music, but purely from a fan's perspective?
You chilling, dog? I don't even know what he said. There you go. He was like, I got some change, bro. And I was like, no, I already paid for my food. I'm just kidding. He was like, no, I'm playing. Does he know that we ate? What? What if he knew? What if he's from the future? What if he's from the future? What if you know? How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about it, honestly.
You feel good about it? But who knows what kind of intention he has?
That's kind of good, I think.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like it would be rare to go ahead and find like a time traveler that has a bad intention. But then again, that's true. I mean, who's going to be the person who does that, though? Shit, that is interesting to think about, though. Not going to lie. Okay. But anyway, sorry.
Anyway, back to the question. So, you know, it's like one of those questions where it's like, oh, if you could visit little Matthew Moreno and tell him anything.
Okay.
If you could visit yourself as CALSON when you were first starting out, what would you want to tell yourself back then, from a listener's perspective?
I know what you mean. I'd say, I don't know, like, sounds like overdone what people say this, but like honestly, like keep going, and also like don't worry too much. Like obviously there's people that are going to be liking your stuff and there's people that are not going to be liking your stuff, but at the end of the day, doesn't it kind of matter on like what you're trying to feel and what you're trying to express? And it's like kind of reminding myself about that. So like I guess in a listener's perspective and telling him like little Matthew, little me, I guess it would be more like, yeah, saying something like that. You know what I mean? Saying something.
Definitely. Like that. That's wonderful. I appreciate you sharing that. And then what would you like to tell your listeners? From the point of view of CALSON, you being CALSON, what would you like to tell your listeners? What do you want to express to them?
I guess it's weird. I don't want to sound weird. I don't even know if I have that many listeners, to be real, that are like actively watching it, but I probably do. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. I'm just dumb, so I apologize. But anyways, I really would have to say thank you guys like a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like it's really trippy and it really is like kind of special, and it not kind of, what the fuck, no, it's really special that you guys, yeah, it is special that you guys go ahead and like listen to my stuff and really appreciate it. Like, I really do appreciate that. It is trippy. It's a trip every time when I wake up and like someone does like hit me with that, or like really hits with like, oh yeah, like I see what you're doing, or like I see what you mean, or like, oh, this sounds really solid or something. It does feel like, it does give me that like push of like, okay, just to keep like little Matthew, like just keep going. Like, it's like these are just the little things that are coming in the journey. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you guys are a part of the journey, so I appreciate that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's just, it's wild. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is, it's pretty trippy because I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like there was a certain extent where I felt like, oh, I don't know if this is possible to like go ahead and do art, or I don't know if this is possible to go ahead and like really make this like my thing. Even though internally I was like, wait, but this is like what I want to do, and I feel the most like satisfied with this, and I feel the most like myself, I think, is the most important part. I feel the most myself like with this way of expression, with like life in general, because people take it in different aspects. Not everyone does art, but like I feel like very natural towards that. I like personally within myself, I feel very drawn towards it. So fuck yeah. So I'd say thank you guys very much. Keep listening. Or don't. It's all up to you. I mean, I don't want to make the decisions for you.
He's
It's
so
all
polite.
good.
He's telling you. He's saying you don't need to listen to my music.
But realistically, I mean, like.
Listen, I'll say it. Listen to his music. He's a fantastic musician, a great person, someone you would want to support. Very unproblematic. Thank God.
You know. Thank you, very unproblematic. I was like, what about that? I was trying to share chicken and waffles in though with you.
Yeah.
Come on. So, and I didn't. Did I offer? Did I offer? Who knows if we offer? Did I offer?
You did offer them. You said, would you like any?
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay,
That's
wait.
true. I just need
I have one final question for
Tell me.
you. Let's go this way.
Okay.
Let's take a minute.
All right.
Let's take a minute.
All right.
Let's take a minute to just sit and think about life. You ready?
Thinking
We're just gonna
about it.
look. We're just gonna look.
Ruminating. I'm ruminating right now. Rumination towards all the palm trees. That's the one thing that's crazy about California.
Oh God, yeah, the
'Cause it's
palm
like,
trees. You know they're so expensive too.
Are they really?
Oh yeah,
Like, to
my
plant
school
them or
has.
what?
I'm gonna probably get kicked out of my school for saying this. My university spends like a.
Kick push. Ah! Ah! Ah!
That's.
Hey, that was a no, but anyways.
Thank you, CALSON, for preventing me from getting kicked out of my college. Anyway, last
That's all you gotta
question.
say.
Last question.
Anyways, tell me.
And don't think about it, okay? Just answer.
Okay.
Kick or push?
If I'm living this life the way that I'm living it, that's a motherfucking kick.
Hey, we have another kick. I love kick. Well, thank you so much, CALSON, Matthew Moreno. We appreciate you coming out here and letting us interview you. We love spending the day with you. You guys hopefully will be seeing a lot more of CALSON because we adore him so much. But yeah, is there any last words you want anyone to hear before we log off?
Rock and roll 2023. I really appreciate you guys again. Long Beach has really good chicken and waffles. Wild Chive, that place is fucking amazing.
Shout out Wild Chive.
Shout out Wild Chive. We had this right before the interview, dude. Come on now. And then you got the beaches of Long Beach. Honestly, though, it looks like that place exists, but it's actually like, I don't know if it's an oil rig or something, but it looks fake. It's a Minecraft world. It's a Minecraft world out here if you think about it. It's a Minecraft world out here when you think about the things that we create and the things that we express. It technically is Minecraft. Come on now. Just take a tab. Don't be scared to take that tab. No, I'm just kidding.
Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. We're done. We're done. Cut the cameras. Kick push.
Doesn't encourage.
Yeah, kick push does not encourage drug use. We
I'm just
do
kidding.
not
That was
encourage
a
drug
joke.
use whatsoever. He was just joking because
That was a
CALSON is
joke.
such a big joker.
That was a big funny. I was trying to do a big funny. But the world is Minecraft to a certain extent, though. The world is Minecraft if you look at it in a weird way. You know what I mean?
So thank you, everyone, for watching this video. We had a wonderful time talking with CALSON, and we hope you enjoyed it as well. Catch us on our next interview. Kick push!
Kickity push, let's go!